Immortality, or The Pilgrim's Dream, by Alfred Wheeler. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Immortality, or The Pilgrim's Dream, and Other Poems. Dedication. To the members of the New York Society of Literature, this poem is respectfully dedicated. Gentlemen, it is with the sincerest emotions of regard that I dedicate the following poem to you, not only as a society and collectively, but also individually. The many pleasant hours that we have passed together are ever dear to me in the remembrance, and with the warmest gratitude for your liberal and undeserved kindness, I esteem it an especial privilege to be permitted to dedicate this poem to you as a slight evidence of that attachment which cannot be expressed by words, and trusting that the sunshine of prosperity, which has illumined your pathway, may ne'er be shadowed by a single cloud, I have the honor to be your sincere friend and fellow member, Alfred Wheeler. End of dedication.
Immortality, or The Pilgrim's Dream, by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. Green was the forest glade, for summer now on every flower, plant, and tree had marked the season as her own. It was the noon, and birds escaping from the fervid flood of heat that poured upon the shadeless fields, amid the cooling branches of the grove, had nestled, some with plumage bright and gay, unequalled hues of heaven's own workmanship, and others of the feathery tribe whose charm was in their song, upon the waving boughs, were gaily dancing mid the bright green leaves, and singing merrily, while gentle zephyrs sweet from hill and dale, o'er grove and vale, their gladsome music meet, and rustling leaves, with music like Aeolian harps from tree to tree, gave back the music note for note, until the forest seemed a living grove, where music dwelt with everything, and e'en the trees grew vocal at the south wind's touch. A streamlet too went leaping on beneath the shady boughs of tree and hanging vine, while ever and anon its dancing spray leaped up as if to kiss the modest flowers, and add its note of joy in sweetest chime to the merry melody around. In short, the scene was a joyous scene, in this greenwood wild and free, the winds at play on the leafy green, amid nature's melody, where cheering hope on the wings of love seemed nestled in every flower, while fancy gave to the happy grove the charm of a fairy bower. Oh, the wild wood to a sinless heart is the home of love and peace, where the cares of life and its woes depart, and the storms of passion cease. Then who would cling to this dismal den, or court its alluring charms, when the cheering voice of the woodland glen invites ye to its arms? There's freedom there for the struggling mind, for the soul that would be free, and the music of every murmuring wind seems whispering liberty. And in this quiet forest glade, beneath the greenwood tree, a pilgrim stood, and o'er the scene was gazing musingly. No hoary hairs upon his brow, no wrinkled lines of care, betokened that the hand of time had left its impress there. No curved or bended form had he, no greybeard long and white, no crooked staff, nor tattered clothes, nor garb of valiant knight, but plainly clad, of honest mien, yet noble form was he, and o'er his head the years of life could scarcely 20 be. His mind had far outstripped his years, and from his eagle eye there flashed a light that told of might, of a soul's nobility. He wandered not in search of gems, nor baubles rich and rare, nor at the shrine of fortune bowed to worship humbly there. No country famed in classic lore, no consecrated fane, had lured him with the flattering hope of kneeling at its shrine. But in his soul from boyhood's days there lurked one burning thought, that waked a dream of new romance, with hope and fancy fraught. When in his childish glee he hung upon his mother's side, and felt his heart with gladness leap in the joy of boyish pride, oft in his listening ear she breathed a tale of bygone days, or sang a song of olden time in some old hero's praise. Anon she told some thrilling tales of warriors who had bled to gain their country's freedom, or be numbered with the dead. Or of the sons of genius who with eloquence sublime had won such laurels as ne'er fade before the hand of time. And as the story of their fame enchained his listening ear, and in the thrill of rapture wild his soul poured forth a tear, with artless glee the thought sprang forth that marked his destiny. Oh, tell me, mother, may I not, like them, immortal be? And now on manhood's verge he stood, while deeply in his soul was cherished still his early hope to reach that fancied goal. In youth he saw but sunny skies along the path of life, and fancied that the future must with such be always rife. But when amid life's storms he launched, with hope his only guide, and friends whom he had loved before forgot him in their pride, oft from his lonely heart would spring the sad and burning tear, for only one was left of all who once had been so dear. And she, a fair one, who had been the star of every dream, for whom his heart had beat with hidden love that made him deem the path to fame, though dark and drear, would yet be bright the while, could she for whom he lived but grant one fond approving smile. And friendless now and lone he stood beneath the greenwood tree, and mused upon his pilgrimage to immortality, till sad and weary with his fate a spell upon him crept, and on the green and sloping lawn he laid him down and slept. And fancy now, with quick and magic power, on the sleeper cast the thraldom of an hour, And lo, the wild romance that preyed upon his soul in dreams still bowed his spirit to its own control. He seemed to stand in a palace hall, alone and a stranger there, and viewed with wonder the gilded wall that crowned with splendour the festival, and the hangings rich and rare. It was a monarch's banquet hour, and the guests around the board forgot for a time the kingly power, and jested with their lord. And melody sweet was floating there with the charm of a magic spell, and echoing now through the fragrant air with notes that banished each thought of care, and as soft as a fairy bell. And quick the heart to the music beat with the lightness of mirthful glee, and the sound of the dance and the tripping feet grew loud in their revelry. The tables groaned with the viands rare, and fruit of every clime, while the sparkling brim of the wine cups there, as it met the lips of the smiling fair, flashed rich with the rosy wine. And light from the golden lamps, which seemed like a sunbeam's dazzling ray, or the jewelled crown of the monarch gleamed, and around him seemed to play. And there in his kingly state he quaffed from the cup that the fair had sipped, and drained to the dregs the bubbling draught, till with frantic joy he wildly laughed, as the light feet round him skipped. And flattering tongues with a cunning guile were whispering in his ear, while each one vowed with a treacherous smile that his praises were sincere. "Ho, the ruddy wine!" the monarch cried, "there's joy in its magic name. Let the soldier speed in his martial pride, and swift on his courser to battle ride, to die with a warrior's fame. But gold is mine, and the flashing wine, and the gods have given me power, and the sunny smile of the concubine, as a toy for a tedious hour. But hark, what sound? Lo, the merry dance has ceased, and a ghastly fear, with the hue of death, is on every glance, and they quake as though struck with the foeman's lance, and list with attentive ear, till the stoutest heart at the frantic rout bursts forth with a wail of woe, as they hear the sentry's thrilling shout, "Belshazzar, the foe, the foe!" And see, on the wall o'er his banquet throne is traced by a spectral hand his doom, and he stands like a sculptured stone. Thy kingdom and gold are for ever gone, for the foeman treads thy land. And the pilgrim dreamer murmured low, "If this be immortality, Father of mercy, hear my prayer, oh, let me not immortal be." A change came o'er his dream, it seemed the time of midnight, and a scholar o'er his books, with glowing face and thought sublime, upon the pages seemed to pore. His keen eye glanced along the page, and seemed to trace the future of his soul's career, while genius on his brow with lustre beamed, and aimed his high ambition to its sphere. His cheek was pale and wan, and cunning schemes for many a year had racked his soul, and mingled with a wildness in his dreams that scorned e'en reason's calm control. and o'er his brow the laurel wreath of fame was twined, and nations on his whisper hung with raptured ear, and o'er the world his name had grown familiar now to every tongue. And lo, in transport wild the scholar strung with chords of heavenly birth his lyre, and o'er the fibres quick his spirit flung the spell of its poetic fire. The world stood mute with all as from his heart the gems of genius charmed their eager ears, and when the poet ceased his magic part, he found a listening world was bathed in tears. He ceased, and changed the thrilling minstrel fire to cheerless cold philosophy, and calmly laid aside his living lyre for the dull pen of history. And the same hearts that echoed to his song, and beat responsive to his tuneful lays, in wonder at his wisdom now prolong, with frantic rapture their unceasing praise. And when at last he laid him down to die, to leave a world so beautiful and fair, he e'en forgot there was a power on high that made him what he was, Voltaire. The muse nor calm philosophy could save, yet still he faltered not in stubborn pride, but while a lingering tenant for the grave, without repentance, cursed his God and died. And the pilgrim dreamer turned away, and a tear fell from his eye, while something whispered, "Wouldst thou pray for such an immortality?" Again the scene was changed. A giant mind, by whose stern fiat kingdoms rose or fell, was struggling fierce for mastery o'er mankind, till every war shout seemed a nation's knell. Grim-visaged war o'er earth had spread her carnage far and wide, and the dismal heaps of the fallen dead told of her rapid stride. And o'er the light of the foremost fight still shone that meteor star that flashed afar o'er the track of war from the Isle of Corsica, where'er the tide of battle rolled its purple-tinted wave. He stood, the foremost of the bold, the bravest of the brave, nor quaked his heart at its fearful part, nor faltered his eagle eye, and the rattling peal of the clashing steel was echoed with victory. And pale-cheeked famine followed fast, and woe came on apace, while death was stalking boldly past, the foremost in the race. Yet proudly bright flashed forth the light from that warrior's lightning glance, and wild rang out the thunder shout, "À jamais, vive la France!" And lo, a mournful wail rose high that told of anguish there, and the widow's tear and the orphan's sigh were eloquent with prayer. And fast and far that meteor star on its scourging mission sped, and deeper grew the crimson hue on every field of dead. But the mighty arm of vengeance fell across his blood-stained path, and a million voices loudly swell in the echoing howl of wrath. And the widow's tear and the orphan's prayer on his pathway still pursue, till the Avenger's shout to heaven rang out from the field of Waterloo. And now afar upon the ocean wave, a faint and glimmering setting star shines o'er an iron rock-bound coast, the grave of him who 'gainst the world made war. The dreamer shuddered in his sleep, and on a nobler scene his mind's eye turned its gaze. A firm, devoted patriot band that came from o'er the sea, on the virgin soil of their forest land, were struggling to be free. From a land of tyranny they came to seek a shrine for prayer, and build them up a stainless name they might not blush to wear. God smiled upon them, and their songs in hymns of praise rose high. The heaven-born breeze each note prolongs, and wafts it to the sky. United hand in hand they grew to be a people brave. Their noble hearts were strong and true, and free as the ocean wave. But the tyrant watched with evil eye as their gladness echoed far, till there flashed along the tranquil sky the crimson blaze of war. Then rose they in resistless might, and for their own green land, like giants stood in the foremost fight against the foeman's hand. Till from the northern snow-clad hills to the fragrant sunny south, one startling shout each bosom thrills, and bursts from every mouth. God and our country be the cry, the home of liberty. We'll brave the tyrant till we die. God made us bold and free. And noblest of that patriot band, one godlike stood alone, and o'er whose brow had freedom's hand her brightest laurels thrown. Alike in fight or council hall he bore a lofty part, his bosom thrilled to freedom's call, deep from his giant's heart. And he that made them heard their prayer, as on the bended knee they humbly sought his watchful care, and asked for liberty. And a shout rose from that fearless band, when their noble cause was won, for freedom and our native land, God and our Washington. The dreamer woke, and years passed on, the lightness from his step had gone, and the bright lightning glance of youth, whence beamed the light of fearless truth, had vanished, and his sunken eye was dim yet wild, and gaiety had from his spirit passed away, like lingering light at close of day. Upon his features harrowing care had many a furrow planted there, while on his noble snow-white brow a burning fever lingered now, and racked his spirit day by day, till it was well nigh worn away. He'd sought with eager zeal for fame, and with it an unsullied name. The first his soul had nobly won, the other, and the dearest, none but knew that he deserved it well. Yet oft so potent was the spell with which malignant envy rose, her treachery turned his friends to foes. and they that knew his honest heart still sought to wound with falsehood's darts. He was not happy, and his life had grown a burden. E'en his wife grew doubtful of his love, and wept, while bending o'er him as he slept. Now by his side she stood, the same, for whom his soul had courted fame, the one that made his boyhood seem, in its remembrance, like a dream. And carelessly her fingers played with locks that o'er his forehead strayed, while in her boy's bright smiling face she calmly gazed, as if to trace upon that brow so smooth and fair the likeness of his father there. She wept, and in her sadness prayed that God would bless her child and aid her spirit in its mournful part, to cheer her husband's drooping heart. His pilgrimage was well nigh o'er, and his soul from earth must soon be free. But oh, how much his spirit bore as the price of immortality. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Maniac Bride by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by Mapstone. Oh, dark was the night, and bleak the air, and the stormy winds were free, and alone on the heath was a lady fair, a picture of misery. Her hair was loose to the cruel wind, and her eyes were strange and wild, while around her brow wild flowers she twined, with glee like an artless child. Her feet were bare to the chilling frost, on her cheek the frozen tear, and she searched around as though she'd lost a prize that was very dear. On every side she wildly gazed, oh, why does he stay so long? Then up to heaven her blue eyes raised, and murmured this plaintive song. 1. Oh, the heath is sad and lone, and I seek thee here in vain. Where hast thou, my loved one, gone? Wilt thou not return again? 2. Here I shed the lonely tear, now to cheer my breaking heart, nightly watching for thee here. Come, oh come, we must not part. 3. They told me that I must forget, that I'd loved thee once and true. They cursed the spot where first we met, where the vine and the wild rose grew. 4. Ah, they little know the spell, would my love were but a dream. Peace and joy and hope farewell, ye are falser than ye seem. 5. But, loved one, come, thou wouldst not leave me here alone to weep and sigh, or faded hopes to mourn and grieve, and broken-hearted pine and die. She ceased, and pressed with her tiny hand her white snowy brow and fair, while her pale and trembling lips began to whisper in fervent prayer. O God, in vain must I ever grieve, o'er hopes far dearer than life? O wherefore, my husband, didst thou leave thy lonely and loving wife? Her prayer rose high, and with accents wild, and sad was her burning tear. O Father of mercy, take thy child, or send my lost husband here. But hark, O list to my heart, 'tis the tone that bound me off by its spell. Ah no, I'm crazed, 'tis naught but the moan of the wind. Loved one, farewell. Oh, sad was her fate, an only child, to parents and kindred dear, whose winsome ways so gentle and mild would many a sad one cheer. The poor of the village knew her well, for her heart was kindly warm, and the rich and gay ones loved to tell of her angel face and form. But a stranger came, whose evil eye on the artless fair one fell. He breathed in her ear a mournful sigh, and whispered of love's sweet spell. She listened oft, for her soul was free from every doubt and guilt. Her pure heart knew not that guilt could be in that stranger's winning smile. But time passed on, and by crafty art he won the fond maiden's love, as the wily snake whose keen orbs dart the charm that secures the dove. She twined the cords of affection true, and hope on his love would cling, like ivy grown o'er the crumbling yew, a blasted and worthless thing. Soon at the altar her hand she gave, and heart to the stranger guest. She little thought that the cold, cold grave must soon be her place of rest. Happy and gay was the honeymoon, while friends from afar and near brought many a gift and bridal boon as pledge of their friendship dear. When a few short weeks had passed, while hope grew brighter with every day, and dreams of love seemed daily to ope to the bride so young and gay, the stranger said to his loving bride, I must leave thee now a while. I'll soon return, and then at thy side I'll live in thy cheering smile. They parted that morn, and the first tear fell from her eyes since they were wed. She never had known love's deepest spell, till its brightest joy had fled. One night, when the winds were bleak and cold, and dark was the hour and late, a horseman came, stout-hearted and bold, and knocked at the garden gates. His tale was this: afar he had rode of a villain, he said, in quest, who lived, he had heard, in that abode, in the pride of a bridegroom guest. That groom, said he, is an arrant knave. 2 brides now seek him in vain, and ne'er, fair lady, this side of the grave wilt thou meet thy husband again. Didst ever see a white lily fair that grew 'neath a summer sky, and kissed each breath of the fragrant air as the zephyrs wafted by? And didst thou mark, when the storm cloud sped, and fiercely and wild passed o'er, how the broken lily drooped its head, and drank of the dew no more? So fell this bride in the bloom of youth, mid hopes as fleeting as gay, and her golden visions of love and truth with her reason passed away. And ever now, when the night winds blow o'er the gloomy hearth and drear, the maniac bride alone will go in search of her husband dear. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Canzonette by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by MorphineLolly. Oh, I have a little fairy that meets me in my dreams, with a form so light and airy that like a nymph she seems. And I promise to be true to her, and ne'er to love another. And she's to be my sister dear, and I'm to be her brother. Our hearts are both in unison. We lead a happy life, though he declare he will never consent to be my wife. He says, the cruel creature, that the heart which heaven gave, he'll never suffer any man to make his willing slave. Yet still I am in hopes, some day to earn that ruby lip, for my watchword and reply shall be, do not give up the ship. And where's the heart that e'er was made, but could by love be won? And who e'er can expect to win, who will no virtue run? Then here I gird my armor on, my crusade has begun, and ne'er again my arms lay down, until the prize is won. And on my shield a Cupid's dart, my lone device shall be, and then in golden letters bright, my motto, Amoti. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Farewell by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by MorphineLolly. Farewell, and may thine hours be blessed with love's unbroken spell. The grief that swells within my breast, thou wilt not know. Farewell. We'll meet again, and sunny smiles shall bless the hour of greeting, while cheering hope each care beguiles with joys as bright as fleeting. 'Tis not because I doubt thy truth, or promised love's assurance, or that I deem thy maiden youth unused to love's endurance. It is not fear that I shall be forgotten when away, for I know thy heart is not free, nor coldly will it stray. It is not this that makes me sad and clouds my hopes of pleasure. How could the loving soul be glad and far from all its treasure? It is because no kindred heart but thine can grief dispel. 'Tis this that makes it hard to part, and yet we must. Farewell. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Cot by the Mountain Stream by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by Kachuk. Oh, give me the cot by the mountain stream, whose water runs merrily by, while the crystal waves in the sunlight gleam, or dance 'neath the starlit sky. For my love is there, and her cheeks as fair as the flower of the mountain vale, and her heart is light, and her eyes as bright as e'er shone in that shadowy vale. There peace and contentment forever shall dwell, and innocence ever repose. For sin shall not enter that gladsome dell, where the mountain streamlet flows. And the night bird's song, as he glides along, or rests in the fairy grove, and the twinkling star, as it shines from afar, shall tell but of peace and love. Then, God of the forest, protect it well, and smile on that happy cot, and long may its fortunate inmates dwell, content with their peaceful lot. And send from above the smiles of thy love on that form of my early dream, and never forget, while the sun shall set, that cot by the mountain stream.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Hunter's Song by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by Kachuk. Come up and away, 'tis the break of day, the hour of the huntsman's pride. We'll mount our steeds, and away we'll speed, with the baying hounds at side. Our hearts are light, and strong in their might, what cause have we to fear? While we follow fast as the tempest blast, in the steps of the bounding deer. But hark, hark, in the forest dark, I hear the sound of the well-known hound, and the winding bugle seems to say, away, away, away. Now swift we fly 'neath the cloudless sky, and we pass the trudging hind. o'er meadow and vale, o'er hill and dale, and we leave them far behind. Oh, who would not be a hunter free, to roam mid the mountain air, to follow the chase in a nimble race, on a morning bright and fair? But hark, hark, that well-known bark proclaims the hunt is o'er, and the winding bugle seems to say, hurrah, hurrah, hurrah.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Poet by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Deal gently with him, world, I pray. Ye cares like softened shadows come. His spirit well nigh worn away asks with ye but a while a home. O gently touch the tender chords that clasp a poet's heart, nor deem it folly when the teardrop from his eye shall start. Too full of tenderness and love to meet the world's cold sneer, he turns him to his God, and tells his sadness by his tear. When the sound of the faint yet mournful sigh falls sadly on the ear, and the weary heart in sorrow seeks one smile of love to cheer, that heartfelt sigh from the spirit depths finds echo in his own, and he sheds a tear with the weeping one, and sighs for the sad and lone. He seeks his friends in the woodland glens, where the birds are warbling free, and their merry song as he roams along to his heart seems melody. He loves to talk to the winds and stars, and in converse breathes aloud, for the moan of the wind and the song of the stars seem the voice of his Maker, God. When the day has gone and the night winds blow, and dark is the gathering cloud, and the lightning tempests, howling fierce, the starry skies o'ershroud, he looks above with a fearless eye, and watches the lightnings flash, and finds sweet music to his soul in the roar of the thunder's crash. Then frown thou not upon the heart that God has blessed with smiles, but do thou love him, for 'tis love that all his care beguiles. And when good fortune smiles on him, his heart will share it with thee. But oh, forsake or leave him not, till his soul from earth is free. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Lines from the Head, Not from the Heart by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by Peter Lajoie. Oh, tell me no more of the heavenly smile that dwells in a woman's eye. Her love may the tedious hour beguile, and her hand the teardrop dry, but 'neath her smile there lurks a guile that may shine while it deceives, when it weaves a snare as deadly as fair round the heart that once believes. Though her heart may melt and her tears may flow, and her breast may heave a sigh, though her cheek with radiant smiles may glow, and her lips with love reply, yet oh, beware of the deadly snare that lurks in the falling tear, or the tender sigh and the kind reply that falls on the listening ear. Then tell me no more of the magic spell that attends the piercing glance, though her soft honeyed words of love shall tell, and her beauty may entrance. Yet her vows, though fair, are empty as air, and are made but to deceive, and a dark disguise still lurks in her eyes, which smile while her victims grieve. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Farewell to My Home by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by Peter Lajoie. Farewell, lovely valley, I leave thee in sorrow. Through thy woodlands and groves I can ramble no more, and when far away I awake on the morrow, 'twill be but to weep for the dream that is o'er. I love thy green vales and thy cloud-robed mountains, thy sweet balmy air, thy meadows and hills, the music that springs from thy sweet gushing fountains, and the green mossy banks of thy murmuring rills, and the hearts that beat warm neath thy bright sunny skies, whose faith is ne'er broken, whose friendship is true, and the smiles of thy daughters that beam from their eyes, like rainbows of beauty from crystals of dew. I go, for the voice of affection afar sweetly echoes the vows that my heart has once plighted. I go, for the light of that ministering star can brighten each hope that absence has blighted. I go, but could she who is first in my heart in thy quiet be happy, and there with me dwell, we'd cling to thy green hills and never depart from the vale that I now bid in sorrow farewell. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Oh, Think of Me by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by Peter Lajoie. Oh, think of me, at the quiet repose of the morning hour, when the dew glistens bright on the opening flower, when the birds sing their songs by the shadowy dell, and the murmuring streamlets of love shall tell. For I'm with thee. Oh, think of me, when the pale moon's gentle and silvery light gives a charm to the spectral hour of night, when the stars look down from their home in the sky, and watch o'er our slumbers with twinkling eye. For I'm with thee. Oh, think of me, when flattering friends shall surround thy gay form, and lavish their praises endearing and warm, when thy heart in its gladness shall gaily rejoice, and a spell of enchantment attend thy sweet voice. For I'm with thee. Oh, think of me, when the vows of affection are breathed in your ear, and your heart in its fondness replies with a tear, and forget not the heart that has ever been true, and which, though forgotten, shall beat but for you. For I'm with thee. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
My Sister by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by ShrimpPhish. When friends prove false that once were true to the ties of love that bound us, when sorrow's tears our eyes bedew for the hopes that fade around us, there is a heart that clings forever with love pure and unshaken, nor fades away when storm clouds gather and the heart is all forsaken. When the dreams of youth have passed away and ended but in sorrow, when the gloomy hours of today are earnest of the morrow, there is a hand that would not fail to dry the tears of sadness, and on the brow careworn and pale spread newborn smiles of gladness. When fortune frowns with torturing leer, and life grows dark and dreary, and the proud world turns its haughty sneer on the pining soul and weary, there is a smile of sunshine bright that has no night nor ending, but pours its rainbow gem of light o'er the drooping spirit bending. Oh, he that has no sister's love to clasp with kindred feeling, nor feels that joy from heaven above through all his senses stealing, when tempest storms come thick and fast, his soul shall droop and pine, like the blasted oak that needs the clasp of the sister twining vine. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Bachelor's Wish by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. Wanted a wife to sweeten life by a bachelor young and healthy. I do not care, so she be fair, how poor she may be or wealthy. She must not be tall, nor yet very small, but beautiful, gentle, and young, with eyes that are bright, and a heart that is light, and one who can bridle her tongue, with a soul full of love, and as pure as a dove, and a form that is slender and airy, with a voice like a bird's, though of not many words, and as gentle and light as a fairy. She must not be blue, and much less a shrew, but generous, frank, and refined, in temper as mild as an artless child, with a brilliant and heavenly mind. And when I can find one just to my mind, who'll love me sincerely and ever, I never will leave her, nor harm her, nor grieve her, but cherish her fondly for ever. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
My Cousin by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by Jiyu. Oh, think not that thy happy use is doomed to leave seen never, or that the ties of love and truth which bind thee are forever. Think not that friends who once were true shall ever linger near thee, for thou wilt find that those are few, whose words of love will cheer thee. Think not thy joys will never fade, or hopes will never be blighted, for the promise often firmest made proves false to vows once plighted. Thou'lt find the world a gloomy waste, where pain and sorrow grow, and broken faith where hope was placed shall oft make teardrops flow. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Love by Alfred Wheeler, read for LibriVox.org by Cavaet. They tell me that love is a fearful thing, and the wise ones say, beware, for the rainbow hue of his gaudy wing is as false as it is fair. When he dips his shaft in the falling tear that flows from the melting eye, oh, then is the time for the soul to fear the charm of the mournful sigh. They say that he creeps in the tender heart when the spirit is sad and lone, and his fetters he binds with a magic art till he claims it as his own. And oft he has hidden in friendship's garb, and the soul feels light and free, till it withers away with a poisoned barb that has pierced it secretly. And he dwells in the music of plaintive song, as it falls on the listening ear, and slowly and surely he glides along, nor wakens the heart to fear. Till soon, when the voice of the song is o'er, alas for the magic spell! The heart that was gladsome is free no more, for the song was its mournful knell. And in posy too he loves to hide, when there's little of earthly mould, while he shuns in the depth of his honest pride the cruel hearts and cold. And he breathes in each word of the measured line a spell that is strong and deep. He seeks not to know if the heart may pine, or the spirit in sadness weep. But I care not at all, so the rainbow hue be the smile of thy sparkling eye. I fear not the tear, so it comes from you, though charmed with the mournful sigh. Be the friendship thine that shall weave the spell, and thine the sweet plaintive song, and thine be the posy ever to tell that thy love is less fearful than strong. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
My Bonnie Anna by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by ShrimpPhish. 'Twas on a lovely summer day when flowers were gaily springing, beneath the golden sunny ray, and birds were sweetly singing. I hied away to see my love. May heaven with incense fan her, and shower blessings from above upon my Bonnie Anna. The hours flew by on heedless wing, until the moon shone clearly. How could I leave that winsome thing, and whom I loved so dearly? Of all the joys that greet us here, though they be ne'er so many, there is none to me that can compare with my sweet Bonnie Anna. No e'er shone more sweetly bright than that of my ain dearie, and gazing on its gentle light, I'd ne'er grow sad or weary. And then she's such a fairy form, and such a winning manner, I'm sure no creature e'er could harm my ain, my bonny Anna. But soon the fearful moment came, that almost set me weeping, when I must hie me to my hame, to dream of her while sleeping. And what I told her now I'd tell, but then I'm sure I canna. Yet this I know and know full well, I lo'e my bonny Anna. I stole my arm around her waist, and kissed her lip at parting, and in her blinking een I gazed, where pearly tears were starting. I bade her then a fond good e'en, and left my love sae canny. She was the fairest e'er was seen, my lovely bonny Anna. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Dream is Past by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. The dream is past, the spell is o'er, the charm that bound me is no more. Thou'rt lost to me, and now we part, with none to soothe my broken heart. My soul too fondly oft would deem our hearts were blended, ah, the dream! And now, since every hope has flown, I turn from all to weep alone. And while my heart shall droop and fade with hopes of love that fancy made, thou wilt forget me in thy pride, and be another's loving bride. I've fondly loved thee, but in vain, and never can my heart again, though hope has gone, from love be free, or woo another one but thee. Oh, hadst thou been less dear, my pride would bid my heart its feeling hide, until my soul should soon forget that thou hadst been what thou art yet. But, like the broken string of lute, whose plaintive strains must now be mute, so shall the gladness of my heart, its life strings broken, now depart.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Heart That's Loved Thee, Long and True, by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by ShrimpPhish. Forget the land that gave thee birth, the happy home of childhood, the rocks and trees that shared thy mirth in the green and merry wild wood. Forget the friends of youth, though few, and they forget thee never. But the heart that's loved thee long and true, forget not, oh, forever. And she who watched thy infant sleep with a mother's heartfelt pleasure, thy father who for joy shall weep and call thee all his treasure, of them, though tears shall fall like dew, thou mayest remembrance sever. But the heart that's loved thee long and true, forget not, oh, forever. Thy brother who has watched thee long with hopes too full of gladness, thy sister who has breathed her song of love to cheer thy sadness, forget them while their teardrops too shall mourn thy coldness ever. But the heart that's loved thee long and true, forget not, oh, forever. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
My Birthday by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by MorphineLolly. I'm 22 today, and while the years have swiftly flown, they've robbed from me the treasured joys that once were all my own. The promises of hope that cheered my boyhood's early years have flown without fulfillment and have left but bitter tears. My childhood was a happy one, for then I knew no care. My life was all a sunshine. My dreams were bright as fair. I watched, with merry heart, the brooks that gently flowed along, and heard, with joy, the gladsome strain of every warbler's song. And on the stars of heaven I gazed, and breathed an earnest prayer that God would take me when I died to be an angel there. But now those happy days have gone, nor may return, while I have passed my boyhood's innocence, and am not fit to die. And in my childhood there were those I dearly loved to see, for they ever wore a friendly smile, and all were dear to me. But they have gone, I know not where. They are no longer here. I wish that we might meet again. I'm sure they'd still be dear. Oh, that my boyhood's happiness would come to me again, or that the sunlight of my life would be as bright as then. There is no goal for peace or joy on manhood's careless trek, and 'tis but vain to hope that age will early joys bring back. Remembered scenes and cherished forms and hopes have passed away, like golden sunbeams lingering light at close of summer's day. Errand-friendly hearts are colder now than those we loved of yore, and vainly we look for joy that shall be found no more. If love now sheds upon my heart a bright and glowing beam, so transient is the fancied bliss, it seems a fleeting dream. And if my star of hope should shine with bright and cheering ray, there's sure to rise a gloomy cloud to drive my peace away. And all that's left to cheer my soul is the phantom spirit, fame. For I fain would win a laurel wealth and bear an honored name. Yet even this I may not seek with but a heavy heart, for 'tis a careless world at best, where my soul fulfills its part. You tell me I should be glad to greet my manhood's years, as if to part from youth were cause for smiles instead of tears. I found as yet my happiest days were mingled with alloy, for fruitless love and blighted hopes are little cause for joy. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Morning Prayer by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. I thank thee, Heavenly Father, for the care thy watchful eye has had upon my sleep, that thou hast made the morn seem beautiful and fair, and bright as rosy dreams, from which I woke. And safely hast thou kept me through the night, from dangers and disease and death, and generous health and happiness have dawned upon me with the day, as unalloyed with grief or woe as when I lay me down 'neath evening shades to sleep. For which, O Lord, my soul would lift this humble song of praise, and bless thee that thou art so merciful. 'Tis sweet to praise thee when the morn springs bright with rosy freshness and with glistening dew from shadowy darkness. And methinks the song of matin birds more sweetly sounds at morn, when first their warbling carols sweetly float upon the fragrance of the air. And when I hear the voice of nature, musical with love, my spirit gladly soars above to heaven in sweet communion with my God. This day protect me with thy guardianship, and keep my feet from wandering in the path of sin. May every thought be full of thee, and faith and hope and charity still be bright sister lights to guide my soul to heaven. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Evening Prayer by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. O thou who watchest o'er the night, my God, when evening shades invite me to repose, secure I rest beneath thy sleepless eye. And while the world is wrapped in silent gloom, to thee I turn and lift my prayerful voice. And on the wings of faith my spirit soars above, and in its calm dependence feels no fear, for it is God in whom I trust. I thank thee for this hour of rest, in which soft slumber with refreshing sweetness creeps upon my weary spirit, and the charm of dreams makes light and joyous e'en the gloom of night. Father, I love thee. O the moon and stars and cloudless sky, all silvered o'er with gentle light, awake sweet songs of praise, and make me feel that thou art here. Methinks I hear those evening stars now, chiming forth a song of praise to thee, while zephyrs sweet with dewy perfume waft it up to heaven. Forgive me if this day my soul hath erred, and wandered from the path of rectitude. If sin has lured me to its sweets, I pray forgiveness. Keep me through this night, that when day dawns my soul may praise thee. For I love to thank thee for thy heavenly watchfulness, and thou well knowest that in prayer my soul takes fond delight. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Friends of Our Childhood by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by ShrimpPhish. They are gone, the friends of our childhood. Their voices shall greet us no more. The scenes that we loved in the green-tangled wild wood have lost the sweet charm that they wore. For the hearts that we cherished are hid by the tomb, and the sunshine of promise is darkened with gloom. They are gone, and we seek them in vain, in the pathway o'er life's dreary waste. Their wild, ringing laugh shall ne'er greet us again, though their memory ne'er be effaced. And the smiles that were earnest of pureness and truth have vanished like dew with the dreams of our youth. I knew a little fairy girl, oh, I remember well, for near my father's cottage the sweet artless one did dwell. It was full many a year ago, for only 7 years had o'er me flown or dimmed mine eye with boyhood's childish tears. We both were young and artless then, and in our childish glee we oft would share the kiss of love beneath some shady tree, and in each other's face we gazed and told of all we thought, for in those sunny days our hearts with innocence were fraught. She had a soft blue eye that 'neath her flaxen curls would shine, like moonlight streaming from a cloudless sky through clustering vine, and sweetly too her bird-like voice would echo through the glen, and when she laughed the little warblers listened too, I ken. We grew from childhood up to youth, and in each other's smile we seemed to find a charm that would our every care beguile. We often talked of love, and vowed with wildest ecstasy that though the world should all prove false, we still would faithful be. And when we parted, many a tear flowed from her azure eye. The grief that swelled our youthful hearts was told but with a sigh. And now, though many years have passed, we have not met again. I know not if her plighted vows unbroken still remain, but if these lines should meet her eye, though I may faithless seem, she thus may know I've not forgot love's first and brightest dream. They are gone, and the places they filled now echo their gladness no more. In the cold silent grave their hearts are now chilled, and their daydreams of promise are o'er. May we meet them above, far, far through yon skies, where beauty ne'er fades and hope never dies. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Vision to a Nameless One by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. I had a dream which was not all a dream. I saw at the close of a bright summer day 2 clouds 'neath a rainbow of heaven-born light. They shared the same storm and the same sunny ray, but mingled in one ere the darkness of night. And 2 midnight stars in one heavenward course together were shining like jewels of heaven, like souls that are free from the pangs of remorse, with the pleasures of hope that affection has given. And at earliest dawn, as I wandered along, 2 songsters sat warbling the song of their love, and the notes died away of the bird's wooing song, like the music of harps touched by angels above. And beneath where they sang 2 brooks glided by, while each seemed to kiss the green banks with its spray, till at last joined in one, their sweet waters for aye went rippling and dancing together away. When I gazed on those clouds as they mingled together, and shared undivided each rainbow and storm, when I saw those twin stars still shining forever, the brightest at midnight, the last at the morn, when I heard those sweet birds as they warbled their song, whose melody sweet seemed the music of heaven, when I sat by those brooks as they glided along, in one course and as smooth as the streamlets of Eden, I prayed that our souls like those clouds might entwine, and share the same fate, be it sunshine or storm, and like those two starlights together might shine in a heaven of love never ending and warm, and our vows of affection might breathe like the song of the musical warblers, as sweet and as free, and with hearts still embraced like the stream flow along to the fatherless ocean, eternity. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Song Farewell by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by MorphineLolly. Farewell, farewell. We meet no more below, to share the joys that youth and love impart. I ask no friendly token ere I go, to cheer the midnight of my broken heart. The parting pang to thee will soon be o'er, and I must love thee though we meet no more. Farewell, farewell, yet thou canst not forget thy broken vow in happier moments made. Thou wilt oft recall the hour when we first met, and breathed of love within that forest glade. And I my lonely lot shall still deplore, for I must love thee though we meet no more. Farewell, farewell, yet hadst thou ever known how fondly I have loved thee, and how well, then still my heart might claim thee as its own, nor bid thee now a last and sad farewell, nor yet be doomed until my star has set to see thee faithless and to love thee yet. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Thoughts on a New Year Morn by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by ShrimpPhish. Another year. Oh, in that little word, how many is seen with sunshine bright or dark, with clouds of grief, the soul sums up. It seems but yesterday, when on the New Year morn, my spirit woke from dreams of thee, and breathed to God a prayer that it might be a year in which no clouds of grief should cross thy path, or dim the lustre of thine eye. And now, my muse, upon that year's departure sings its dirge. I know not if my every prayer for thine unclouded joy has been fulfilled. I know not if thy heart has overflowed with tears as oft as mine. But this I know. If hope could have fulfilled its prayers, thy life would, in its joyousness, have been too bright for earth, a foretaste e'en of heaven. Oh, oft, when I have seen thee in my rosy dreams, the starlight of my hope, I've wished that life were ever thus. It seemed so sweet to dream that thou didst love me. And the new year now upon thee dawns. Oh, may its close be bright as is its birth, and may thy every dream of love and truth paint the reality that gladdens thy existence. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To a Lady on Her 19th Birthday by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by Jessie Percival. Another year has rolled its cycle round to swell the measure of the greedy past. Its voice still echoes with a ceaseless sound. Thus come the dreams of youth to fade at last. Thy bloom has faded not, thy hopes are bright, thy heart still beats as happy and as gay. Thy spirit has not mourned the cheerless blight of hopes that smiled on thee, then passed away. For smiles have glistened o'er thy flowery way, like diamond dewdrops on the opening rose, and friends have hovered near thee day by day, and for thee nightly prayed a sweet repose. No clouds have dimmed the sunshine of thy life, no storms have bowed the lightness of thy soul. Thy heart serene and free from passion's strife admits of none but virtue's own control. Though 19 summers now have glided by and poured their richest blessings on thy head, the hour must come when all thy charms shall lie like withered flowers mid the silent dead. Yet may the future have no secret woes that watch to mar the gladness of thy heart. May every hope that in thy bosom glows by sweet fulfillment newborn joys impart. And while the year steals on, my earnest prayer that God may bless thee shall be fondly given, and every birthday, though it bring its care, shall tell that thou art so much nearer heaven. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Thoughts of the Dead by Alfred Wheeler, read for LibriVox.org by ShrimpPhish. Did ye hear that voice o'er the deep blue wave? Your hearts will not now be gay. It came from the dismal and lonely grave, for a spirit has passed away. Ye parted, and little ye thought of the sorrow that hung like a cloud o'er your dreams of the morrow. Ye saw not the death angel's warning of sadness as he spread his broad wing o'er your image of gladness. Weep not, for his spirit has gone to its rest, and the blight on thy hope to thy soul may be blessed. Thou canst not recall the bright dream that has fled, for the loved one thou mournest lies now with the dead. Murmur not, for the heaven that smiled on your love has a place for his soul in the mansion above, and remember that they who are cherished by God are the first to be scourged by his chastening rod. Thou hast loved him, and who that has known him did not? And the form that was loved cannot soon be forgot. But the God that has given has taken away, and thy daydream of gladness was but for a day. Hark, hark, do ye hear that low voice of woe, that tells ye of hopes that have fled? Do ye see those tears in their ceaseless flow? 'Tis the living that weep for the dead. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Maiden Fair by Alfred Wheeler, read for LibriVox.org by ShrimpPhish. A youth once met with a maiden fair, and he saw by her eye that love was there, while the light that beamed from her sinless smile told that her heart was free from guile, and she seemed with a heart so gentle and warm, like an angel from heaven in mortal form. And the youth looked up to the maiden fair, and he breathed in his heart a silent prayer, that God would smile from heaven above, and teach him to win that lady's love, and ever be near, 'neath rainbow or storm, to keep from all danger that fairy-like form. And oft as he thought of the maiden fair, with the blooming cheek and the nut-brown hair, in sadness a teardrop would start from his eye, and deep from his soul came the mournful sigh, and he grieved, for his love he might never tell to the fairy girl whom he loved so well. But the youth at last won the maiden fair, for hope bade his spirit proudly dare by glorious deeds and high to prove that he was worthy that lady's love, and bright be the hours of love and truth to the maiden fair and the wooing youth. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Lines Presented with a Bible by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. If e'er a cloud of sadness should flit across thy path, and rob thy youthful gladness of all the joy it hath, if sorrow should come o'er thee, or grief thine eye bedew, if the path that lies before thee seem dark and dreary too, thou'lt find a sunshine here, whose calm and soothing light shall chase away thy tear, and make thy pathway bright. If thou shouldst lonely be, and want a friend to cheer thee, if those should coldly flee that once would linger near thee, if in thy youthful breast sad disappointments creep, to break thy spirit's rest, and mar thy tranquil sleep, a friend thou here mayst find, whose love shall cheer thy heart, and closer be entwined, when falser friends depart. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Forsaken One by Alfred Wheeler, read for LibriVox.org by ShrimpPhish. Nay, ask not why my heart is sad, thou wouldst not have me smile, and seem as though my soul were glad, when grief oppressed the while. They say that love makes light the heart, and softens sorrow's pain, but they little know the smart to those that love in vain. There is a joy, but rarely found, when love meets love and truth, when heart to heart one hope has bound, to bless the dreams of youth. Yet when the spirit, sad and lone, must droop o'er hopes that fade, and love first feels its visions flown, and scenes that fancy made. Oh, wonder not if sorrow dwell where hope had held its throne, or if beneath the potent spell death claim the heart his own. May those who trust their feeble bark upon love's troubled sea ne'er find its wave or storm so dark as now it seems to me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Cottage Maid by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by ShrimpPhish. I would not seek in festive halls a heart that could beguile the weary, gloomy hours of life with beauty's witching smile. Away from towns and cities fair, mid scenes that never fade, I'd leave my heart where nature dwells, and love the cottage maid. I would not seek for friendship here, mid selfish hearts and cold, nor innocence unmixed with pride, where every smile is sold. But where the heart is light and free, and friendship ne'er betrayed, I'd seek those envied gifts to find, where dwells the cottage maid. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Bridal Song by Alfred Wheeler. Read for LibriVox.org by Philip Baxter. I never saw a bridal, but my eyelid hath been wet, and it's always seemed to me as though a joyous crowd were met, to see the saddest sight of all, a gay and girlish thing, lay aside a maiden gladness for a name and for a ring. I stringed my lute for a bridal song, on the willowy boughs it hung, and many an hour has passed along since its cords were last unstrung. But a merry heart I'll seem to wear mid the blithesome and the gay, and smiles for the bride so young and fair shall chase the tear away. I bring thee flowers to deck thy brow from the green and grassy dells, in the dingles and copses wild they grow mid the music of fairy bells. They gracefully bend when the dews descend, and drink of the heavenly showers, and their virgin white neath the moonbeam's light is the purest of all the flowers. They came from the grove where a fairy dwells, and they grew by her mossy throne, and naught but the wild bee's honey cells of their sweetness e'er has known. And a pearly brook in a quiet nook has merrily danced at their side, and they hid their face with a beauteous grace like a young and timid bride. In the greenwood wild where the harebell grew, and the tulip cups were seen, and the violet drank of the morning dew, the rose of them all was queen. When the wood nymphs dance neath the moon's soft glance, and flit mid the leafy bowers, they trim their hair with these roses fair to the envy of all the flowers. Then take them now with the poet's prayer, that the joy of thy gladsome heart may ne'er be dimmed by a cloud of care till its life-light shall depart. And though, like they, thou art ta'en away from those who shall weep when thou art gone, may thy heart be light as it seems to-night when many a year shall have flown. Farewell, my lute, for thy task is done. Thou hast been my dear treasure long. Too soon we part, yet now there is none that can waken thy echoes to song. And though neglected thou mayest decay, yet the teardrop oft will start, while I think when thy gladness shall pass away, thou wilt droop like my own sad heart. End of Immortality, or The Pilgrim's Dream, and other poems by Alfred Wheeler.